Okay, hi. So we are the EQ Bank design team, or at least two members of it. We have a couple others in the audience tonight. And tonight we're going to be chatting a bit about making new financial products approachable.
A little bit about me. I'm David. Again, thanks Preet for the introduction. I'm the senior product designer at EQ Bank, and along with simplifying digital banking at EQ, one thing that I'm really focused on is saving and investment products. So anything dealing with people saving, investing, GICs, that's the area that I'm focused on.
And my name's Claire. I've been at EQ for a bit over 3 years now, and I work on everything to do with everyday banking. So transfers and any accounts where money is going in and out really frequently. And EQ Bank, if you haven't heard of us, we're a digital bank. We're the 7th largest Canadian bank, and we have over 450,000 customers.
All right. Trying new things can be scary, right? Especially when you have money on the line. So what that means is personal finance can be very difficult and it's challenging to navigate. And when there's a new product on the market, it can be very daunting for someone to explore. Think about the past where you've opened a new financial product. There might have been a moment where you felt anxious, nervous, or even hesitant to open the product. And even when you do commit, there are moments where you're just like, do I really want to put the money into it? Like there's that fear. And at every decision point leading to opening a new product, trying something new, those fears and anxieties will often pull us back from making progress. And this is especially true in finance when you have all your hard money with you and you're just not sure if it's something that's so new and different. So we're here to show you and present two of our products that we've considered new and to the market, and show you how we've designed it, approached it to reduce those anxieties and ultimately create familiarity to the products that customer can relate and adopt to their lifestyle.
So EQ Bank is no stranger to introducing customers to new banking experiences. Most people, when you think of opening an account at a bank, it involves going to a branch. Any customer of ours has already gone through the whole process online, which may be something totally new. But ultimately, opening an account is still a pretty standard process wherever you go. But for some of our products that we'll be talking about today, there's some very unique quirks that have been tricky for us to try and get across to customers. So the first product we'll be talking about is the EQ Bank Card. So this was launched in 2023, so last year. And it has free withdrawals from any ATM in Canada, cashback on every purchase. But one of the things that makes it quite different is that it is a reloadable card, so not a debit or credit card that most customers are used to. Another product that we launched just a month or two ago is the Notice Savings account. And this is a higher interest rate account for customers, and customers were really telling us that they wanted flexible access to their money, which we were able to provide with the caveat of requiring advance notice, either 10 or 30 days before they make that withdrawal. So as we were going through these products and we knew there were a couple of key differences that we really needed to communicate to customers, we had a couple of mindsets that we used in order to help these feel like approachable products that weren't going to be too intimidating or unknown for customers to give them a try. So I'll pass it over to David to talk about the Notice Savings account first.
Absolutely. So let's talk about behavior, needs, and adoption. And the example that I'm going to look at is, again, the Notice Saving account and how we approach the new to something that is familiar. So if you look at the diagram, the first thing there are three sections: behavior, needs, and adoption. Oftentimes when we think about design, we're thinking about the needs. But what we found is that designing for customer needs and behavior actually leads to greater and easier adoption. So on the left, you can see that habits or behaviors is habits and preferences based on lifestyle. On the right, a need is really about the desire to achieve a goal or solve a problem. And adoption happens when a product or service meets that need and aligns with their current behavior. So in this specific case, that if there's this multiple viable solutions that fits a lot of needs, the one that actually gets closest to the customer in terms of actually adopting and using the product is based on their lifestyle and preferences and the way they interact with, for example, in finance, their money. So this presents options for us as an EQ Bank of things that were available for the customer. We had two options, which is GIC and accounts. Before that, how many of you guys know what a GIC is and have GICs? Okay, there's quite a few. And how many of you guys know what an account is? See, it's funny, right? But reason why it's because everybody knows what an account is and not necessarily what a GIC is. So, but that's the challenge. How do we make this? How do we design a new product for everyday users who don't invest, but want a high return? So the benefit of a saving account that's easy to use, but with the same benefit of a GIC, like high return, and that led us to the notice saving account. And the core feature, the core value is that it works like a cashflow GIC. It has high interest rate, but in an account form that is very approachable and positioned in a way that everybody can just use it. It's not a very complicated product. It solves the customer need for higher returns and aligns with how they use the money every day. So the customer that we're really focusing on are customers who, they have some money in the account and they just want to deposit the money on a regular basis. That doesn't really apply to GICs where, in a case where you're just locking your money away for a period of time and it's not really that flexible when you're looking to get the return. And oftentimes you have to pay a fee if you break it. So this solution really is a hybrid. It's really a product that solves that mental model for people who wants to get the value, but in an approachable way. So some of the iteration that we started, again, it was not easy to get here to the product. It was very challenging, but we thought of how we want to leverage existing product that we have right now, which is a saving account, how we want to play with positioning the rate, positioning the title, but also thinking about like what other ways that we can, upgrade the current account as a potentially as a feature that you can just boost in your account or convert your account. But in the end, we felt that it was a completely different product and it needs to be separate from what we have today. And the key design moments that we really had to focus were the clear rates and terms. So exactly what the customer knows, like to sign up for, simple actions that customer have a good idea how to use this account without being overly complicated, and the ability to withdraw money and understand when you're going to get that money, to relieve those anxieties of, when am I actually going to get it, and making sure that it works as intended. And I'll pass it to, and one more slide. We understand this is a new product and understand that how does it affect adoption, the way we design this and position the product. While we're still learning, but in the first month, we've gained over 10,000 customers and over 300% deposit target. And this is indication that people are comfortable with this product and they're easily able to adopt to this, this product to their life. And it shows a sign of success that the way we positioned, the way we designed carefully and thoughtfully reflects to how they use it in their life.
Okay, so now we're going to be covering another example from the EQ Bank card and a different way that we tried to make things approachable. So before I get into it, does anyone here have an EQ Bank card? A handful of people. Okay, great. This will be a nice background for those of you who don't work at EQ Bank and have an EQ Bank card. So one of our biggest challenges, EQ Bank, up until we launched the EQ Bank card, had been a purely digital bank. So for most people, it lived only on their phone, and having that perception of what EQ Bank's role in their life was and being able to shift that was a huge challenge that we knew we needed to really focus in on. And we had pretty mixed results right off the bat. So when we had prototypes of our order flow, which is kind of that first experience, several customers said something along the lines of, I'm really excited for the virtual card, which is not something that we offer with this product. So it kind of went to show that with these early prototypes that we had, the way that we were styling things, helping customers go through the order flow wasn't emphasizing the right moments. and was leading them to believe that this kind of image of the card that we intended to represent the fact that they were going to get a physical one was being interpreted in a very different way. So what we did was quite a few things, and we're trying out the new Figma slides. So that is a prototype that is not loading properly, but if you could see it, it would be a really cool 3D animation of a card spinning around in a circle. So what we did was we removed the very static image. We added an animation that's actually turning, so it gives that 3D sense to really emphasize that. And on some of the other flows, we actually removed the card image, so they're not associating it with the success. I can see a card. They have to actually wait until they get the physical product here, where we have an example of the way it opens, which is totally different from what you normally get when you have a new bank card that arrives. That's a lot of papers and in a white envelope. And we really wanted this moment, one, to help the customer be excited about their new card, and two, on another level, because it's a totally different experience from what you'd normally think of when getting and activating a card, it kind of helps to communicate the message that our card does not work the same way that you're used to. So this was one of the moments that really mattered to customers. And the kind of lesson that we took away and have applied elsewhere now is that some moments matter and some don't. So that crucial moment of understanding that the card is a physical card is something we really needed to highlight with a more standout design choice from our usual way of styling pages. And on the other hand, some no-brainer moments where we don't really want the customer to be using a lot of their energy. We want them to just move along through the flow, stuff like an order flow, or even the page where they can see that they've successfully ordered it. Those pages we kept really simple and did not bother to try and reinvent the wheel when it really wasn't necessary and wasn't going to benefit the customer. To give one other example quickly, another concept that was totally new to customers was the concept of loading money on your card. That's not something that you have to do with a debit or credit card. So we really needed to find a way to make this easy and a habit that customers are going to be able to pick up. And we have the kind of standard transfer flow that we use for moving money between other accounts. And that's your normal form field. Everyone's used to it. You enter the to, from. There's probably a review page and a success page. And that was going to be quite slow. So we introduced a new quick transfer widget. So right on the primary dashboard, when someone first signed in, they can see this pop up right from the bottom. In one click, they can quickly transfer money onto the card. And even though it would apply to a lot of other locations, the fact that we introduced it for the first time with the card really helped customers see that, okay, this is a different kind of transferring money, and also helped build a habit. And we've had a lot of success with the quick transfer widget where no one is using the old transfer flow to load the card pretty much. And we're now able to kind of take those learnings and apply them to other products where quick funding is also valuable.
Awesome. So that leads to the final point. Again, when it comes to new products in the market or anything that's new to the customer, no product is perfect on day one. That's the reality. And when you launch something to the market, you're going to expect something that's going to come out, surprisingly, or mistakes, or even just unexpected things that you just never thought of. And you just can't get that from user research. That's okay. I think that's where opportunity lies. And for us, one key things that we learned from the Notice Saving account is customers are actually willing to lock money longer for higher rate. Our initial assumption was that flexibility was going to be the challenge for the customers, and they will want to actively withdraw because the way the account works and obviously the interest. But in reality is people are okay with locking their money forever, for a long time. And forever. We haven't seen any withdrawals. And so yet, but it's this idea of the way that we position this product give us an insight to how we can think about investments. Is it really the feature that is holding people back, or is it the way that it's positioned? But it's this type of insight and the behavior of how customers use their money and obviously use their product will give us insight to how we can strategically position our roadmap for the future, but also look at other areas of our products and how do we improve that to the benefit of the customer.
And on a very similar note, as we were focusing in on all the key differences that the EQ Bank card had from other experiences of activating a card, we forgot a much more universal experience, which is everyone gets a little nervous when you activate a card for the first time and go to make your first purchase at a point of sale. And for some customers, the fact that this was a prepaid card, as well as that kind of universal experience of a new card, was really stressful. And we ended up having some calls, people coming in just wanting to check in and make sure that they had everything set up correctly. So that also taught us a lot about being more aware of the customer journey offline. And it's something in future products that we really try to consider is how do we bridge the moments that someone is within our experience, and then when they have to go and actually complete an action like a direct deposit form or making that first purchase. So again, we try and take whatever learnings we get, good or bad, and feed them into making better products in the future.
I think one more last thing is, I know we're all working fintech and it's often very difficult to get products out or features. It's tough, but when it comes to designing something new, we want to push for that. We want to push for getting out to real users. We can have all the assumptions, hypotheses of how we think it's going to work, and even biased, I would say biased user research. Like, it's not going to be the same when it gets out in the market and when people are actually using it. That's the thing that we really want everyone here to take away. And thanks for listening.
Thank you.